Today we're going to be working on with the So Many Stars bundle, and we're going to make this beautiful card here. I've been playing around with the Noble Peacock foil paper because everybody's been a little bit disappointed about the brightly gleaming paper going away, but the same colors pretty much are used in this Noble Peacock. So we're going to play with that today. Here's down on my desk. Queenie's hanging out here, my little elf on a shelf. She's going to watch us today. And for Queenie, we got her a little Bernard. See, a little Saint Bernard for Queenie Bernard. So I just thought that was super cute. Had to have it since that's my last name. For today's card, you're going to need a base. Now I'm going to work with the Pretty Peacock today. And so we're going to work with the Pretty Peacock foil and the Pretty Peacock cardstock. We're going to need a card base. This one is done in Pretty Peacock, as I've mentioned. And then I took a piece of the Pretty Peacock foil. Now this time I'm going to use the little designs in the background. Last time I used just the solid color. And then this was 4 inches by 5 1/4. Then I have a piece of the sparkle glimmer paper. And this is 375 by 375, so 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. And then more of the foil, 3 1/2 by 3 1/2. And then I also had some more that I used are framelits and punched out some stars. Now this bundle comes with the So Many Stars stamp set, which we will use a little bit of, and then the Stitched Stars framelit dies. And it has a lot to work with, and it's beautiful for layering on top of each other. So I took the 3rd largest and then the 4th largest stars, and then I used the 2 larger of the detailed stars. There's actually 3 of them. I'm using 2. And then I used this beautiful swirl. I just couldn't help myself. This is so cool. You have to see this swirl. It is so pretty. And in the sparkle, it's amazing. So in order to make this adhesive, I could have, if I had some left over, if you guys have got some of those double-sided sticky sheets, oh my gosh, those work fantastic. You can also take a little bit of the liquid glue, and if you use our silicone mat and you pour a little puddle of the liquid glue and then you bounce this, there are stamping sponges, you could sponge a little bit of ink on, or a little bit of glue onto the back with our Tombow. Or also, because this is a non-stick mat, we can also use our snail and be able to run this over the back, and then it won't stick on the other side. So whichever adhesives you are more comfortable with, you could use the fine tip glue pen. I mean, there's just any number of things. And I ripped it, look at that. But the good thing is this is going to go in the background, so it's going to be hidden a little bit. I'm going to lay this down on top of the 3 1/2 by 3 1/2 inch layer of foil. And then I'm going to mount the star over the top. And like I said, that'll hide my little boo-boo there. And I'm going to pop that up on Stampin' Dimensionals. So I'm just using the mini dimensionals here because they were the perfect size for pushing out a little further into the parts of the star, so it gives it some good stability. And I'm just going to place that right here in the middle. Now as I layer my stars, what I'm going to do is I'm going to offset them. So I'm going to reverse the points. I don't know if you can see that. See how I've got them kind of offset? So now I'm going to take the next one and I'm going to use glue dots. And I'm just going to put a couple on the back here. Glue dots are a little bit thicker and will stick to the glimmer paper really well. So that's why I'm using those. And then again, we have another glimmer paper. And so this one I'm going to layer right over the top of the other one. And again, we're doing the twist again. So this one's going to go the same direction as the original sparkle star. And I'm not going to put adhesive all over. There's like a small enough or a big enough little thing in the middle that I can put a single glue dot there, and I think that's going to give me enough adhesive that it will stick and stay in the middle. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the foil one for the top. Again, I'm going to stick a glue dot in that center so it's hidden. And then bring that over to my layered section and place that on top. And then from the very, very center, I'm going to take a single rhinestone jewel and place that in the middle. Should be using my Take Your Pick tool, but it's not right in front of me at the moment. The Take Your Pick tool is awesome because you can pick it up and then place it exactly where you want it. Works much better. So there's my focal point. Do you like that? Now we're ready to start assembling the card a little bit. I'm going to, again, because this is glimmer, this is a little bit thicker, and so I'm going to use tear and tape. You could also use glue dots, but you want something a little thicker than the snail to be sure that it sticks well. Funny how I turn on the camera and all of a sudden I forget how to stamp. I lose everything on my desk. I don't know why it still makes me nervous. I've been doing this about a year now. So like I said, we're going to use the stamp set now. And I'm going to just take a 3/4 inch piece. This is something I trimmed off of when I was cutting my regular centers, and so this was just a leftover piece. And it's the perfect size for doing the season's greetings. So I'm going to put that down on my grid paper. That allows me to make sure that it's good and lined up, and then I'm going to set the brick or the block over the top of it and pick that up. So now, because I used the grid paper and lined up the stamp and my greeting, it should be good and straight. Because we're going kind of monochrome here, I'm going to stay with that and use Pretty Peacock ink. So just a gentle tap, tap, tap. We want to make sure we're not getting a lot of stuff on the edges. And then firm pressure straight up and down. And there's our greeting. Now, of course, this is a little bit longer than I need. I probably want to stick with that 3.5 or 3.75 down here. So I'm going to bring in my little mini trimmer. You guys want one of these? Look, it says Stampin' Up. This is going to be something that's going to be exclusive to new demos. We can order it now as existing demos, and then if you join during celebration, you can get one for free. But if you can't wait, you can always join now and be able to get yours right now. So cute little trimmer. And there's our greeting. And then we know I always decorate the inside of my card. So I have a layer of Whisper White, and that's going to be our inside. Now this one I had open to the side. This other one here I had open from the top. And then I had a little bit of extra foil paper, and so I added that to the bottom. And so you can have your card go either way. So I just put a greeting on the inside, and then I stamped with the stars across the corner. You could do both corners if you wanted. We could also take a strip of that foil. That would be big enough, huh? So again, I'm just using up some little scraps. And I'm going to keep the straight edge up to the top, which will hopefully keep me straight on this other piece. So now I can add this across the bottom. And I did make it a little long. I did that on purpose. I would rather cut off extra than be short. And I did all my stamping before gluing it to the inside of the card, because in case there's a boo-boo, we want to be able to flip it over and stamp on the other side. And here I'm just cutting off the excess of that foil, so now we know it matches exactly. And I don't know if you can see, there's a teeny tiny little speck of ink that I got on there. But don't worry about things like that. Some people see those sorts of things and they want to throw away the whole card. And that's so not necessary. Those things aren't mistakes. They're just a chance to embellish. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take just a tiny little star that's just a little bit bigger than that little boo-boo. We're going to stamp right over the top of it. And look, it was meant to be there on purpose, right? Oh, gosh, there's another one. See how this works? Okay, so before I get any more ink everywhere, we're going to go ahead and we're going to stick this to the inside of our card. This is why it's good to keep diaper wipes around. If you have the non-alcohol diaper wipes, they are great for using on your hands and sometimes even cleaning off the stamps. But we want to make sure that they are non-alcohol, because the alcohol in the diaper wipes, if it had some, would dry out your stamps, and we don't want to do that. So there's our card. So I hope you enjoyed today's card and you give it a try. And like I said, I'm sorry that the brightly gleaming paper sold out. I know people are really bummed about that, but don't worry, because it's coming back. Stampin' Up! Is starting something new that they didn't do before. And what's going to happen is some things will retire out of the regular holiday catalog, as they always have, and they're going to appear in the new annual catalog that will come out in June. The new part is there are some additional items that will show up in the 2020 holiday catalog. So they will just take a break and they will disappear for several months, and then they will come back. So one of those things is the brightly gleaming paper, and another thing is that mousse. Everybody was so excited about the mousse punch, and it was very popular. It sold out. We were not able to get any back in time to include them, more of them in this catalog before the end of the year. But because it was so popular, they're going to bring it back next year. So don't go spending big dollars on eBay. You don't need to do that, because it is coming back. Again, thank you for joining me, and I will see you next Monday. Take care. Bye.